I've heard there is an ayah in the Quran that says to children that their aunts and uncles' houses are like home. Does this mean that they feel at home at their mama chacha's house in terms of being free to eat while they would like they would at home? Nowadays people get offended that, oh, look at so and so and he she thinks they are entitled to eat here, etc., without feeling generous that these are my nieces and nephews. What the Islamic ruling on this, and if there an ayah on that topic? You see, what it says is that laysa alaykum haraj. There should be no problem with you to feel fine about going to eat at your mum, dad, uncle, aunt's house because you're so close, right? You're so close. And in those days, it was like everybody was living very close together anyway, so it was socially very close as well. Nowadays, unfortunately, we've got so many problems in families that everybody becomes a separate entity. And anything that a child does, they reflect it on their parents now. People say he's not being taught manners. If a child does something wrong, poor kid, people say that that's because of their parents. They reflect it. Your children did this and all that kind of stuff. That's just totally wrong. Parents aren't telling their children to do this. If a children is misbehaving a bit, maybe he's a bit greedy, likes eating a lot. Come on, don't put that on the parents. So I think this is, yes, if some parent is sending their children always to somebody else's house at lunchtime and forcing them to eat there so that they save their own food and they get somebody else's food, that's wrong. But if casually they're there anyway, they come to play with your children or whatever the case is, they came to visit, there should be no problem with that. Unfortunately, we have these weird cultural issues sometimes. So this is, it's just a social problem. That's what I would say. It's got nothing to do with Islam in that sense. Having said that, you can go to somebody else's house and you shouldn't feel bad about eating if they offer you. But you should feel much more comfortable in your own auntie's house. If I've gone to my auntie's house and they've got food there already and say, come and eat, and I'm hungry, then I'll eat. What's the problem? So people shouldn't feel like that. People shouldn't feel, and that you should never project from children onto the parents. It's just very unfair, I think. Because children learn from many environments. Their parents aren't necessarily telling them to do this.